Hey, what's good with y'all? It's Powerhouse TGF coming back at you with the One Piece Chapter 1024 analysis. Basically, I just go through and pick out the highlights of the chapter and things that stood out to me. I got some gameplay going on in the background. I actually got the chapter up right here so I can scroll through and get the information I need. So if you enjoy what you're seeing, drop a subscribe for your boy. It really helps out. But without further ado, let's just get into how I feel about this chapter first and foremost. So I guess it wasn't as hype as last chapter was because with the Zoro and Sanji thing that we got in chapter 1023, that was hard to top. Oda really put a big expectation for himself just based off last chapter. But this chapter is actually, it wasn't bad at all. It was actually, in my opinion, it was really good. There was a lot of information, a lot of history between Yamato and Kaido. So we're about to get into all of that shit right now. So first things first, first thing I wanted to address, Straw Hats are coming back together. Straw Hats are in communication. They're asking questions, you know what I'm saying? So Usopp coming in with the grand entrance this chapter, I think that shit was funny as hell, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because why is he claiming that he's the one that did that shit when he knows he's not the one that did that shit? Telling some it's natural for men with weak resolve to fall, to crumble before me. Like come on, man. But I made a video about Usopp and just speculating on what his next power up was. I thought his Kabuto was gonna eat a fucking devil fruit, and now Oda's teasing us, telling us he's gonna get Conqueror's Hawk. That's probably not even a teaser, but at the same time, it's like this man has done the impossible so many times in the story, so it's like hard to project what you're gonna see from Usopp next, especially going from chapter to chapter at this rate. So he said something. I took down 2 of the Flying 6. So is he claiming that he took down Ulti and Page 1? That's a big claim right now, Usopp. But with that being said, there's a lot of chaos on the battlefield right now. There is, I believe it was the 3rd floor that was catching fire, if I'm not mistaken. So they're all trying to reconvene down. I guess they're heading to the live floor, but the live floor is where all the fucking action is. And as I believe in this chapter, as you can see, Frankie was, he's talking to Nami. And he was telling Law's crew, he was like, hey, Zoro and Sanji are on the live floor right now, taking on the All-Stars. Don't let these fodder try to get in between what they got going on right now. Don't let them through. And Law's crew, Beppo is here. Law's crew, they're just like, we're equals. Don't be coming here trying to tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So lots of chaos on the battlefield. They're going out and they're just, basically cleaning up the rest of the Beast Pirates, all of the gifters and the fodder and shit. You could call them the BDSM Pirates, but I'm not going to go there today. We're not talking about that. But one thing I did want to say, Big Mom was mentioned in this chapter. The battle between Big Mom, Kid, and Law that's still happening that we haven't seen in a decent amount of chapters. We also got to think about Killer and Hawkins, but like I said in my last analysis, I ain't talking about that shit right now. Their time will come. But they did mention Big Mom in this chapter, which got me to thinking, how's that battle going right now? How's it progressing? How are Law and Kid doing? And how is Kid dealing with, the side effects of Hawkins' ability, and how is Killer doing with that? So I was just thinking, Big Mom's over there using Conqueror's Hockey and shit. I mean, she's going pretty hard. So it'll be interesting to see how that fight is developing and what they're going through. Obviously, it must be an intense fight. And I mean, it's 2 versus 1 for starters. And with everything that Kid and Law went through on the rooftop, I feel like their ceiling has definitely risen a little bit. I don't know about how much. I don't know if it's gonna allow them to overcome Big Mom, and especially in that battle. Big Mom, she might be the most disrespected Yonko, but she's still a Yonko and she's still strong. We've seen it. We've seen her power. It's going to take more than just a strong devil fruit to penetrate her defenses. So, like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see how that develops. So we got the mention of Sanji and Zoro fighting the All Stars. We got all the Straw Hats coming together. We got Brick protecting Nico Robin in this chapter. He's doing Brick things like always. That's always great to see. But then we got Kaido versus Yamato, and you know how it starts off. In the chapter, Yamato has an attack called Ringing Arrow. Okay, and it was interesting reading the chapter on the scan site because they had some lore behind Yamato and Kaido's attack, which is really interesting. You should definitely go check that out. Yamato flings his ringing arrow at Kaido, and Kaido tanks it and takes it like nothing happened. Like he actually fucking smiled back at her. Can you believe that shit? He was just standing there like, yo, what are you doing? And then to top it all off, he comes back with his own variation of the same attack, Thundering Arrow. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said in the live reaction, Yamato felt the hell out of that shit, and I know it hurt because her reaction to her is like, yo, you're actually trying to kill me right now. Which, I mean, I don't want to call Yamato a hypocrite, but I'm like, aren't you really trying to do the same thing? Or are you just trying to, like she did say, she was going to hold Luffy off until he was able to return. So that just might be her goal. She might know she can't beat Kaido, but she's just doing her thing until Luffy gets back. But she's taking it back because she's saying, yo, you're trying to fucking kill me right now, aren't you? He like, yeah, you're like, you want to take on the name of Kazuki Oda, you want to be Kazuki Oda, you want to act like you're this badass. Okay, like, let's get it. I'm going to come at you with everything I got, and if you're not up to stuff, you're just going to die out here, okay? And, I understand where Kaido's coming from because Kazuki Oda is a big name. That's a lot of weight to put on the shoulders, you know what I'm saying? And you got to... Okay, so my initial theory was Kaido was taking it easy on Yamato simply because he wanted Yamato to be a part of his future pertaining to Wano country and everything that he wants to do. But now, as you can see in this chapter, he's pretty fucking riled up, you know what I'm saying? Kaido's pretty fucking riled up, and he is going hard as fuck. You're trying to kill me, like he said. Oda's name, that's a heavy ass burden. You don't want that shit. You don't want this smoke with me right now. Luffy got me pissed off. All these fucking new ass pirates got me pissed off. He's on edge right now. And the beginning of that fight leads into the flashback with Yamato. And I gotta say, Yamato's flashback is one of the most heartfelt flashbacks I've ever had. She had it really tough. We all knew Kaido was a bad person, but now that, we've got Yamato's flashback, this just further solidifies everything. I mean, not everything, because like I said, Kaido is a misunderstood being. Like, I cannot get that guy. He giving me Tien Shinhan vibes from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I don't fucking understand that guy, okay? But, it starts, she like, let me out of these chains. He's had her chained up, and like, since she was a kid. Like, she was a itty bitty thing, and he had her in chains already. So, I mean, she must have turned wild extremely quick for Kaido to take such measures. And even in this chapter, we see a display of conqueror's haki at a very young age. Now, that's not the first time we've seen this in the series. Very young children using conqueror's haki in life-threatening situations. We've seen Doflamingo do the same thing, but when Doflamingo did his, he was like, I'm gonna kill all y'all motherfuckers dead. I don't give a fuck, I'm killing everybody. Yamato seems like hers was more in a sense of desperation, kind of like how Luffy was in Marineford. She was desperate, she was hungry, and she was like, man, I don't know, they all just fell down, but look, I'm gonna starve to this, so could you give me some food? Kaido's like, I'm gonna do you one better. I'll throw you in this cave with some samurai. So I guess, and Kaido said that was helping out, but he said, you got conqueror's haki, huh? That means you could be promising. But, it's probably better if you did die right now. So I'm assuming that Kaido's motive for this situation was to actually have her die in that cave. It's probably what he was thinking. But one thing I did want to point out before I move on any further was that this flashback, Yamato's flashback, takes place very soon after the death of the actual Kozuki Oda. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look at one of these panels, Kaido has a bandage You know what I'm saying? Going around his torso. The same. It was the same way when he actually executed Odin. You know, after their fight, after he had started recovery, when he executed him, he had the bandage the same way. So this flashback came within. It could have been days of Odin's death, but most likely it was probably a couple of weeks of Odin's death, because as you can see, there are samurai locked up. Um, so Kaido's initial plan was to throw Yamato in there for a month, and Yamato admits that she won't be able to survive. Yamato admits she won't be able to survive if you leave me in here for a month. And you know, Kaido's like, yeah, fuck that shit. But he addresses all of the samurai that are within the cave at the time. He was like, saying go for all of you. Whenever you guys feel like you want to serve under me and get the fuck out of here, just start screaming. I'll hear you through the hole up there. It's all good. Okay? Samurai is silent, and he's antagonizing. Kaido does probably one of the most fucked up things I've seen an antagonist do in an anime. He had the assumption that the samurai were going to fight each other for food. I thought they were too, because like I said, a starving, if you've ever seen a person starving, or if you've ever been in a situation where you haven't had anything to eat for a while, there will be times you will do some drastic things, very drastic things, to get the things you want. If you want food, like food, don't fuck with a man in his food. So Kaido had this thing in his mind, like, I'm gonna fuck her situation up even more, throw some swords in there. But as you can see, like, that was a fucking problem, because the minute those samurai got those swords, they're like, all right, it's go time. But actually 10 days passed and nothing happened. Those swords were tossed in there. 10 days passed. You know, Yamato ate the food. She got the portion. But she actually got to know the samurai that were in there. They even had an opportunity to read Odin's logbook. But let's talk about nobody important. All right? Nobody important. It's quite clear that is Ushimaru Ryuma. I believe that it's clear to me, okay? So obviously, we know Kaido's strength, okay? I don't think anybody is questioning Kaido's strength or the strength of his crew, but he's obviously still trying to build up the strength of his crew, and it's obviously he respected the strength of these select swordsmen in the cave because he wanted them to join his crew. And this man in particular, you know, he just takes I'm pretty sure Kaido just threw some standard swords in there. He just immediately sliced his chains. He's like, man, I'm nobody important. Don't worry about who I am. So these were, I don't want to say Yamato's role models, but this is what kept Yamato alive in that cave, and probably what gave her the motivation to keep going throughout her childhood. Because Yamato had it tough. They end up reading the logbook together. They ask Yamato, like, are you sure you're gonna make it out? Because it's been 10 days and Kaido seems like he's not gonna come through at all. You know, Kaido seems very intent on leaving you in here to die. So what are you gonna do? Alright, she says, I'm gonna fight for Wano, then I'll go out to sea and get much, much stronger. Will Yamato join the crew? I hope so. I would love to have Yamato on the crew. But after she says that, the samurai are like, all right, cool, bet. You gonna do your thing. We're gonna go do our thing. We're finna go try to stab Kaido in the neck or something like that, okay? We're getting the fuck out of here because we don't intend to die in this way, okay? It's quite clear those samurai wanted to die on the battlefield. They're not about to go out starving. I'm not about to go out with low honor. We're not doing that shit. So the minute they got those swords, you know, they took a little time to regroup and they're like, okay, this was our intention all along. We never intended on staying here in the first place. So let's go ahead and get the hell out of here. We're gonna do our thing. Even Yamato admits, if you guys go out there, my dad's gonna fuck you up. And he's like, we ain't even worry about that. I'd rather die this way than to be alive on his crew. And that's a lot of pride. That's a lot of pride right there. But then after that, we come back to the present time, and Yamato is giving Kaido some fucking bars right now. She's basically like, who the fuck gave you the right to take away my freedom, to take away Wano's freedom, to fuck with everybody that's been here? And Kaido has a line for her as well. Which, I mean, I love Kaido as a character, so I look into his shit extra. he always saying some shit. He says there are no easy answers in this world. You immature brat. Now the way Kaido's been going with the shit he's been talking in the pettiness that he's been, putting out into the world, I was expecting an extremely petty reply. But as always, like I said, I can't fucking read Kaido. There are no easy answers in this world. He didn't say anything cocky. He didn't say anything that was, out of place. He just says, look. It's almost like he's saying, I understand where you're coming from. I don't know, like, the only way I can relate to Kaido is basically he's saying, it's hard to be in this position I'm in right now. And if you're watching this and you're an adult, you play your own bills, like, you relate. Like, it's hard being in certain positions and, people ask you questions like, look, I can't really explain that to you. Like, there's no easy answers in this world. And the reason he's calling her immature, because even though she read Odin's logbook, in his eyes, he's probably like, man, she don't know shit. She don't understand the situation I'm in or what's at stake right now or why Wano's important in the first place. So in Kaido's eyes, he's like, I gotta be here. And I've been trying to explain that to you, but you won't listen and you keep trying to kill me. So now I'm gonna try to kill you and go ahead and just, get this problem out of my face, get out of my life. So Kaido's going at her. He's trying to do his thing. But the chapter ends with basically Yamato and Kaido having a Converse hockey clash. So next chapter, it doesn't say anything about there being a break, but next chapter is definitely gonna be a banger. Hopefully we can get back up to the 1023 type of hype type of shit. I think Kaido versus Yamato is gonna get more exposure. I don't think we'll see Sanji and Zoro for another 2-3 chapters maybe. I believe Oda's trying to, wrap up some loose ends really quick. There's a lot of things going on. Honestly, my opinion, Yamato might be getting folded here soon, but Luffy's on the way. He is on the way, so Luffy gonna come in and save the day. I just rhymed, and I know you like that shit, okay? So yeah, and then I'd love to see some more of Big Mom versus Law and Kid. I really want to see how that battle goes. I just want to see, how is Big Mom gonna get taken out of the story? Because Luffy, like I said, Luffy said he was the one that was gonna kick her ass, but Law and Kid are doing it right now. Well, I don't know if they're kicking her ass. Honestly, to be honest with you, Big Mom probably getting on their ass right now. Like, it's funny, but Big Mom is probably getting on their ass right now. But, this chapter was a very emotional chapter. 1023 was a hype chapter. This chapter was an emotional chapter because Yamato's backstory was perfect. It was perfect. Exactly what you think. Like, that's exactly what I thought that she went through. Some shit like that. Some sort of bondage. I I was in a live chat last night, man. Somebody was like, Kaido got an obsession with caves. I'm like, man, Kaido is BDSM confirmed. I don't know what that guy's deal is. His whole crew got this thing with mask and chains and leather and shit. It's weird, man. It's fucking weird, bro. But yeah. Think about that. There are no easy answers in this world. Think about what Kaido said and what might come in that. Kaido is a being with a lot of knowledge. He knows a lot of stuff. Really one of my favorite characters, and the fact that we're getting to know more about him and Yamato is just perfect. Oda's timing is perfect on these type of things. We have been speculating this shit happening like 10 chapters back, and it didn't come, and now it's here, so we're happy about that. But guys, that was an analysis for chapter 1024. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy seeing the gameplay in the background. Like I said, I'm a big gamer. That's a part of my channel. That's what I do, except for the live reactions. That's the only time I don't have gameplay. But if you enjoy the content, please drop a subscribe for me. It helps a small channel like mine. Drop a comment or a like down below if you want to hop in on the discussion. I'm always replying to comments when I do get comments. So, like I said, we still trying to go, but we in this thing, man. But aside from that, you guys have a good day. Peace out.